Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to talk to you guys about the new episode of Dr. Stone's Science Future on episode 24 or Science Future Part 2, episode 12, whichever one that seems fitting for you. This episode right here was actually really nice, and we get some crazy information of how crazy this Medusa device is, not to mention what it really brings and offers, and the consequences of it should all of humanity knows about it. So if anything else, let's just get this started. We get to see how Senku is really impressed by Suika's ability to make the revival fluid, but when he came in, it didn't take so long to acquire the nitric acid very easily. Not to mention while Suika took the route that took very long, Senku did it in a matter of minutes. And when it comes to making the doses of revival fluid, he gets it done, everyone gets revived and cracked open. As for Hyuga, Tsukasa was actually concerned about Hyuga because this guy was actually really killed. But it looks like to me Hyuga is actually back on his feet after being unpetrified or revived. And this actually makes Tsukasa question something. And by that time he goes to the river, and we have to it that Gen decides to tell Senku hey, Tsukasa is at the river right now, and he's really kind of concerned about something. We get to see when Chrome decides to go off to take a bathroom break. We have to it that Tsukasa and Senku realizes that Hyuga was actually supposed to be dead because he was already shot and killed already. But after that, Hyuga does not even know if he really died or not. That's another thing too. And they finally decide, and Senku and Tsukasa finally makes the freaking theory come true, or hypothesis, that the Medusa is a path to eternal life. Of course, Chrome was actually very happy about this when he overheard it and says, hey, this is really cool. So Wyman was actually pretty awesome, so whatever the case may be, we gotta tell everybody. But we have to it that Tsukasa stops Chrome that one time when they actually revived Zeno. When Zeno knows about this too, he realizes that this is immortality or something like that. That's pretty crazy, because it looks like to me this device not only stops you from aging or from dying possibly, it also revives you, which apparently that Zeno, Senku, and Tsukasa makes the idea about it. And we have to its Chrome was actually very happy about this and says, hey, we gotta tell this to everybody. But Tsukasa stops Chrome and says, you gotta listen to me carefully. To never die is equal to death itself, or something even more dreadful. And Chrome's like, what are you talking about? Tsukasa makes a crazy story or theory about how crazy this weapon is. When it comes to those petrified or banished or something like that, thing is, greed is inevitable. Those who get their hands on this thing and want immortality, you have to understand that this thing is about to what's the word? Could cause a lot of catastrophe. Anyone who knows about immortality, they would want it 100%. That much is to be guaranteed. Even I would want it, but if I were to know the side effects of immortality, I would not want it and would want to die. That much I can say. I'm just being 100% honest about that. Other than that, Tsukasa tells Chrome that we cannot tell this to anybody. Same with Zeno and Senku, and that these four people are the only people who would know about this, and that the one who actually gave him that Medusa is that person that's in the moon right now that makes that communication about making that many meters in 1 second. You get the idea. The Medusa surrounding the entire world. So in other cases, right now when it comes to the immortality stuff, it seems interesting, but it's not a very good thing. We have to negotiate with him and try to stop him because there's some nasty consequences to it. So whatever the case is, I guess you can say that the Medusa is a powerful weapon, but at the same time it's a double-edged sword, and if it falls into the wrong hands, no matter how much you try to fight down your greed, it's going to cause a lot of trouble. That much is to be certain. Other than that, we have to it that Senku along with the crew wants to make a deal with Zeno, which apparently Zeno seems to be very like interested in. Although like they're gonna have to leave his army into stone for the time being. So they want Dr. Zeno's help to build a rocket ship to the freaking moon, which I thought it was pretty interesting. So although Zeno started off as an antagonist, he now becomes an ally to Senku and his crew. To build a rocket ship, they end up making some blueprints and get ready to like fly into the moon. However, we don't really know how long it's going to take, but it's going to take a very, very long time. That much is to be said. So this is on the futures of 7.8 billion people on the planet. So looking forward to that. So yeah. Anyways, in other words, like when it comes to like the Medusa device and everyone getting revived, that much I can say. Suika revives Senku. Senku helps out to get the right amount of revival fluid, revives everyone on the crew, and gets ready to go and gets ready to like talk, and they celebrate their victory. Well, barely victory. Other than that, when it comes to Tsukasa and Senku seeing talking about the Medusa and Chrome knowing about it and talking about it with Zeno, this Medusa device seems very nice and all to have immortality, but it comes at a price. Human greed is inevitable, and if once it falls into the wrong hands, it's gonna cause a lot of chaos and death and destruction. Like anyone who wants immortality, they will get it right away. But if you even think about how bad immortality is, even if it's good for you in a certain long run, it's gonna really kill you in the end. And of course, petrification and all, yeah, immortal and all, and it revived Hyoga, who was already dead. Pretty crazy stuff, right? But that is on the dependency or depending on the situation on the person's like body or well-being. If it's not really 100% destroyed, you get the idea. Other than that, after making a negotiation or a deal with Zeno, eventually Zeno decides to join Senku and his crew to make a rocket ship to go to the moon and stop the Y-Man, or talk to the Y-Man and negotiate with him because of what he's done. While humanity is immortal, the thing is there's some price to pay for it. So yeah, looking forward to see how that goes. I hope they will have to get their other crew members to come in to help them out first, because guarantee it's not going to be as a simple waste it's not going to be simple to let them do it themselves, as it would take possibly decades or maybe hundreds of years to even do it. And I'm pretty sure they'll be dead by then. That much is to be certain. But other than that, their next big move and objective is to build a rocket ship that will launch themselves to the moon and get to Y-Man and get down to business. Looking forward to see how this turns out, but it's going to be very crazy because who knows what's going to happen. And who knows if Y-Man's still alive in there. And I think he could be dead, but fictional things, tends to be very insanely crazy. So we'll see how that turns out, So, yeah, all I could really tell you is that everyone gets revived. Senku and Tsukasa talk about the Medusa device and realizes that this device gives immortality, but it should not be shared with anyone to humanity because it's a double-edged sword, because we all know why. Even Zeno knows this when he talks it with the three. Although Chrome wants to share the information, he decides to keep it to himself to realize the consequences. Hopefully he understands that. As much as I like Chrome, he's smart and all, and he's actually like almost second to Senku in terms of knowledge and intelligence and working very hard. He tends to be a little reckless when it comes to information giving information out. So yeah, looking forward to see how that goes out, but hopefully he understands what's up. And now their next big objective is to build a rocket ship to the moon. Of course, Zeno decides to join in with Senku and his crew despite the fights they had. Zeno agrees to a certain deal and they get ready to go into action, which the way how it ended, the next part, Science Future Part 3, will not show up until sometime around 2026. We don't know when that is, whether if it's spring or summer. I look forward to seeing it in action eventually, because this series is really fun. So until then, I'll see you guys later. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.